In 1986, the people of South Dakota elected me to serve them in the 100th session of the United States Congress and the House of Representatives. In 1996, he gave me the honor and privilege of being their junior senator. When I ran for the House in 1986, I told the people of South Dakota that neither party has all the answers, and that both parties have good ideas, as well as men and women of goodwill. My job, as I understood it, would be to work in a bipartisan manner, listen to all parties, and reaching a good fit, also known as a compromise. That is what I still believe. However, in each year of my 28 years of service, this has become more difficult to achieve. Each party, rather than working cooperatively for the American people, is more and more focused on winning the next election. Today, days after the 2014 election, you can walk into the call center for either party and find members dialing for dollars for 2016. Tonight, there will be fundraisers across D.C. where members will discuss policy not with your constituents, but with organizations that contribute to their campaigns. Mr. President, we have lost our way. My thoughts are not original. My colleague and dear friend from South Dakota, Senator Tom Daschle, in his farewell, called for finding common ground that will not be found on the far right or on the far left. That is not where most Americans live. We will only find it in the firm middle ground based on common sense and shared values. Ohio's Senator Voinovich, in his 2010 farewell speech, said that his greatest frustration was the difficulty in finding common ground on significant issues, saying that it doesn't happen often enough. In fact, the need for bipartisanship and the lack of it in the Senate is a hallmark of Senate farewell speeches. Rather than expounding on this topic, I would like to share the rare instances where I have experienced it. I found it working with my colleague, Senator John Thune, as we put aside our political differences and worked as our constituents expected two Norwegians to work. We worked side by side as we pushed for farm bills, highway funding, emergency relief from droughts and floods. We successfully fought the proposed closing of Ellsworth Air Force Base. However, honoring our Norwegian heritage, we never hugged. I found it on the Banking Committee, working closely with Ranking Member Crapo. Together, we reached middle ground on reforms in which both parties gave up significant priorities, compromising, finding middle ground to pass bills out of committee. My best and most enduring memory of this magnificent body occurred during my 9 months absence, following my AVM, a long and humbling journey. During this journey, my committee assignments were respected, and my friend from Rhode Island, Senator Jack Reed, graciously accepted extra responsibilities until my return. Senator Harry Reid told me that during my long absence, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle never once tried to take advantage of my absence. More importantly, in so many ways, the kind words and prayers from you and your spouses on both sides of the aisle supported both Barbara and me and give us strength during my long and continuing recovery. I was grateful and humbled by your support on September 9, 2007, the day that I returned to the Senate, when almost every chair in this chamber was filled. Senator Reid and Senator McConnell, I thank you for your welcome back to the Senate family. In the years ahead, I will miss this family, not the bickering that I mentioned earlier, but the blessing that you have all been to Barbara and me. Mr. President, I would also like to thank another family that has been critical to my work for South Dakota, a family that goes by the name Team Johnson. This team is composed of highly talented and caring individuals. They have worked tirelessly in the halls of Congress in South Dakota and on campaigns to make our state and our country a better place to live. I wish that I could thank each one of you for your service. Please know how much I appreciated the long hours and late nights that you put in. In the years ahead, I hope that we will continue to celebrate the friendship that we have forged. To my friend and Chief of Staff for 30 years, Dave Samuelson, thank you for joining my fledgling uphill race for Congress in 1986 and for staying with me until we close the Senate office in a few days. Few members of Congress have been as fortunate as I have been to have the loyalty, friendship, and thoughtful guidance that you have given me. My legislative directors have all been remarkable, but time limits me to noting the services of two individuals who have served the longest. Dwight Fettig, who started with us in the House as a young man fresh from his internship with Senator Byron Dorgan of North Dakota. Dwight rose through the ranks to legislative director and then became my first director on the Banking Committee. Todd Stubendek, my current LD, whose legislative guidance for over 10 years has guided the staff in moving critical legislation through the Senate. Todd and Dwight have worked on legislation for projects that now deliver water to hundreds of thousands of people across South Dakota. Country of origin labeling bills, farm bills, National Historic Sites for Lewis and Clark, and the Minuteman missile numerous projects for Ellsworth Air Force Base and the South Dakota National Guard with efficiency and collegiality. Todd and Dwight, thank you for your outstanding legislative teams. Our #1 researcher, humorist, historian, and go-to person, Lucy Weigel, has been with us since we opened the first offices. Thank you, Lucy. To my South Dakota State Director, Sharon Bison, thank you for leading the 3 state offices, for ensuring that we were responsive to South Dakotans and coordinating with the DC office. Sharon Strachan, who directed the Aberdeen office, and Daryl Shoemaker, who managed the Rapid City office, have been outstanding leaders for 28 years. You and all the state staff have been great advocates for South Dakota. You made sure that I always knew what was on the minds of South Dakotans, that they visited crisis situations, nonprofits, local and tribal governments, promising businesses, schools, and so much more. Thank you. Linda Robinson, thank you for your dedication, willingness to go the extra mile in your outreach to and services for our state's veterans for 28 years. The Senate office only needed one office manager for the last 18 years. Nancy Swenson is the most efficient, precise, and insightful person that I know. The University of South Dakota will be forever grateful when they receive the archives Nancy assembled. Thank you. To the standing committees on the banking and Malcon, you have served our nation well, and I know that you will continue to do so in the future. Thank you for your leadership on important issues. I'm looking forward to the years ahead and the time that we will share. To my wife, Barbara, and her 3 children, thank you for your unwavering support, for putting up with late-night dinners, for accepting that my work demanded that it was away so many weekends, and for working side by side with me on challenging campaigns. Without your understanding, love, and support, I could not have done the work that I love. Finally, to the people of South Dakota, thank you for the honor and privilege of serving you in our state legislature, the House of Representatives, and the United States Senate. Thank you for working side by side with me to improve the lives of South Dakotans and our nation. P. Lama Ye. Mr. President, I yield the floor.